Alright, so I'm gonna make this video and say the thing I say all the time, and it's that I hope that it helps other people. But it might just be a little bit of a therapy session for myself, and me just being real. So for the longest time, I had a really hard time with making new videos. If you notice or have been following me for a while, you notice I may have taken a month off on accident, just because I couldn't inspire myself to make anything. And I keep saying, I'm gonna make something, make something, and then I don't. I'll make a list, I'll get excited during the live streams, and then it just won't happen. I want to say that's because I'm lazy, but the truth is, it's because I've been like sad a lot. I'm good at laughing and turning it off for a little bit. I'm really good at going out and being around friends and being social and all that stuff. I'm good at even doing the things I'll tell you to do in this video, like going and playing video games or taking my mind off the situation. But at the end of the day, I'm still sad. Now, I want to warn everybody before I go any deeper into this. I'm not depressed, and this is not a video to help cure depression. If you are like depressed and it's really bad, I really implore you to go seek help and speak with a professional, or reach out to a hotline or something like that. There are YouTube videos for depression. I would, say go look up some of those. But I just don't want you to think that, we can solve all your problems and, in a fell swoop. But I've been sad, and I could say it was because of a breakup I went through, over the last few months. I essentially, lost a person that I consider to be the love of my life, and we said that we were going to talk, after a while, and then we tried to, and it was a complete fail. We both got too emotional. I had tried dating, and it honestly, it's kind of in some ways blown up in my face. Not anything bad, but it just hasn't solved anything. In the past, when I've gone through breakups, I would just kind of move on really quick with the first person that showed up, that was good enough, but not the person that I necessarily needed to be with. And so I'm trying to not do that this time. I'm trying to do the healing the old-fashioned way. And I think that in a lot of ways, I've done some things that I should never do. And I'm going to admit these things in this video because I want you guys to learn a lesson from me, and be raw and real about it, and say some things that I don't think I would have shared with anyone. But I feel like if I can't live my own truth, what else am I going to do? So I did start doing therapy. And I started talking to my therapist about, like, me not feeling like an authentic person, me not feeling like, the right person that, the person I portrayed myself to be. Like, I feel like I've been, like, kind of lying to people and lying to myself even. And so I want to be more aware of that. So I have to call myself out. And so I've been doing a lot of that, and that's been good. But I find myself in the sessions lately just kind of like wondering why I'm there and not getting anything out of it. But I still keep paying for it. $100 a session, everybody. $100 a session. And I'm like, why am I still doing this? And so I'm debating actually getting rid of my therapist and find out another one, because I think that I need to do what's right for me to get myself out of this funk and not just try to like, well, I'm already got a therapist, so I'm good, right? No, you got to put in work if you want to get rid of the I call it the sad monster that's on my shoulder right now. I have to admit that I've done things, that I normally wouldn't do. I've told you guys this story a long time ago, how I like tried an edible, like weed. I actually tried like another edible, and I thought that was gonna, make me feel better, and it didn't. Just kind of like it was a numbing agent for the moment. And I was like, okay, cool, I did it again. Drugs aren't my thing. I quickly realized that. I'm like, you know what? Drugs are not my thing. I don't need to do drugs. They don't solve anything. If anything, they mask the problem for a little bit. They don't actually give you anything that's like long lasting that will actually push you anywhere. And it's hard for me to admit that because I've been super anti-drugs my entire life. Like, I have family members who've hurt me and I've never forgiven them because of things they did while on drugs. And I'll even say it, like, alcohol is a substance. It's a drug too. And I've, done the gone out drinking thing and gotten drunk and made mistakes like everybody else does. I have been making it a point to not overdo that now. Like, I'm making it a really big point to be careful around alcohol, because in some ways I do think that that was part of the issue with my like relationship failing. Not that I was drinking, but that it was like kind of like it became normalized, for me in the relationship, that oh, it's a weekend, we go out and drink, we hang out, we do stuff, and we were always getting into fights when we were both had been drinking, and it was like a long lasting thing that endured for a long time. And whether it was my fault or her fault, it doesn't matter. What matters though is that I think we let something outside of us harm us as time went on. So I've just been really careful and kind of been watching myself and counting, if I do go out and drink, counting my drinks and kind of being aware of my state of mind. And because I'm like kind of scared to get into another relationship and have things go in a similar like fashion or path. One thing I am looking at when I'm looking at people that I want to date is I'm looking like, how do you run your life? How do you carry yourself? Like, how do you deal with your issues? Do you immediately freak out? And for me, I thought that, holding in your feelings about things was the right thing to do. And I don't think that's true anymore. So if you are sad, I want to implore you to actually feel that feeling. Like, if you need to cry, go cry. If you need to just scream, go somewhere and scream. You can really exert some of that emotion by like finding a punching bag, not a person, a literal punching bag, and just working out all the stress. And before you know it, you'll be too tired to even know that you were dealing with a sad thing. I don't know, man. Like this is hard because I'm trying to be like fluid and real about it, and the fact is, like half the time I just want to cry, and I've been trying to cry, and it doesn't come out, And it's not like a thing where like any one thing happens and I'm like all set off and I'm all sad. It's more of a thing where like small things will happen, like a little bit throughout the week. It could be something stupid like a girl that I thought I was starting to have maybe not even feelings for, but just liked a little bit, rejecting you, that kind of thing. Like it's little, but it's still a thing that can affect your entire mood, or maybe even like work changing your assignment, which is what's going on with me, and me being afraid of the future of my career. Like it shakes me a little bit. I'm noticing that I've gained weight. I'm noticing that I don't feel as good in my actual body right now. It's weird because I'm also in this juncture where I feel like, not because I'm single, but because I feel like I'm just carrying some other kind of energy, where I'm finding that a lot of people, and mostly women, have been like saying like the same thing to me again and again, like, hey man, you got this really positive, awesome attitude, and I don't really know you, but I really like you already. And that feels good to hear. It does. It feels good. But I keep thinking to the fact that like I'm 34 years old. you know, I'm not having like a midlife crisis or anything. I already did that. It's just I feel like I'm like not where I want to be. I'm not where I thought I would be. I thought I was gonna have kids. I thought I was gonna be married by now. I thought I'd be like starting a family and maybe even moving to the suburbs and getting a minivan. Which, to be real, the minivan was my dream car forever because I didn't care about cars. I cared about utility. So I always wanted like not a white one, and I wanted windows in it just to keep the creeper vibes low. Because I just want a van because I thought like, okay, cool, I can fit all my kids in it, I can fit my groceries in it, and if I'm ever homeless, I can live in it. It's perfect. And that never actually obviously happened because I don't like big cars, and also I think if I had a van, I would probably get 0 dates. Oh, well, that's just being real, But I'm just that's just a saying that I'm not where I thought I'd be at this point in my life. And a thing I'll tell you to help you not be sad about it, and myself not be sad about it, is to kind of just accept it. Like, kind of look at it and go, you're not where you want to be. You're not where you expected yourself to be. You're not in the best place. Like, I didn't think at 34 I would have a roommate. You know what I mean? Like, nothing wrong with roommates. Roommates are great. If they help you pay the rent and you like them, you're hanging out with them, that's cool. But me, I just didn't see it for myself. I just didn't see it. And it just kind of drags me down a little bit every now and again when I think about what my life could have been versus what it is. But I have to also, again, face it and go, like, the thing is, I could have also stayed in a relationship or in a situation that could have ultimately dragged me down a deeper, darker path of maybe getting married to someone that maybe I shouldn't marry, or maybe even a deeper, darker path of questioning everything about myself every single day because I'm not sure if I'm doing the right things. So here I am, looking in the mirror, just really just asking myself, like, what do you want to do? Like, to be honest, the YouTube thing, it's also gotten me really, really down. Like, I really thought that this was going to become something. I really believed in myself and my ability to create a brand around myself, you know? And I really believed in my ability to be successful. But it feels like no matter what I do, I fail. It feels like a constant cloud of failure is always around me when it comes to this thing. And I think that's why when I got super sad about the breakup, I just couldn't do YouTube. Because I didn't need another thing to remind me how much I suck. You know? I didn't need another thing to remind me how hard all this is. So I just ran away from it. I just made the choice that, you know what, I need a break. You know, I need a real break. I need to be real about it, and I need to just say, hey, like mentally, I'm not where I want to be, so I need a break. And so I took one, knowing that that break also leads to your YouTube channel doing and performing worse. It's hard, man. It's hard, but again, it's a first world problem. Because I'm lucky to have a YouTube channel. I'm lucky to have the live streams. I'm lucky that I can make things that sometimes do well. Um, that hasn't happened in a long time. But it's also me just not wanting to put in the effort and the time it takes to really like do the right thing. I made a second channel called Washed. I've been telling people to sub to it, but then I don't post content to it because I'm like afraid of failure all over again. I'm afraid of literally going like, I'm gonna put effort into this again for several years, and then nothing's going to work. Like the idea of doing that again is daunting, and so it just instead of dealing with it, it makes me sad. So again, the advice is to just deal with it and accept it for what it is, and that's what I've been doing lately. I'm like, you know what? The YouTube algorithm says make long videos, get your watch time up, see what happens. So I'm just making long videos. I'm just seeing what goes down. I'm being authentic. I'm being real. And at times I have like writer's block where I can't think of anything to record or anything that I want to say. And then I just kind of like waste time walking around like, I'll record a video that I'll never post up because then I decided it's bad. And the reality is that, you know what? I am just putting too much into it. So I'm instead going to accept it and go, you know what? The channel is likely doomed. My chances of being a YouTuber are likely low. But I still have a passion for this, and I still have a passion for helping people. So instead of just letting it, drag me through the mud, I'm just gonna make the videos as I can, and put them up when I can. And if they do well, they do well. They don't, they don't. But at least I'm doing something. I'm accepting the situation. I'll be real. There's a girl that I was like kind of seeing, but not really, And she kind of hit me up, and she's like, "Hey, I'm not sure that I'm in a place to, I guess hang out with you." And she didn't really say that, but that kind of drug me down a little bit too. And it wasn't because, not because it wasn't really a thing where it made me like depressed or super sad. It was just kind of like, okay, great, another thing. But at the same time, the words she said, I related to them because she said she wasn't in a place that she wanted to be in her life, and it kind of brings her down, and it's hitting her harder than normal. And I'm not, gonna share with you who this is because you don't need to know that. But the thing is that when that happens, because it's happening to me right now, when that happens, I think maybe the focus should be on yourself, but I also think that leaning on other people that are willing to help you and support you isn't a bad move either. So that's the next piece of advice I'm going to give you is that, like, if you can lean on others and the kindness of other people and the ability of other people to help you and be a unit, it's not a bad thing. You can be, foolhardy and full of yourself, and you can decide that, I don't want your help. I don't want anybody to know that I'm going through anything. You can do that, but it's to your detriment. It's not going to help you. It's not. Like, holding on to your image and who people think you are is not going to help you. You're only going to hurt yourself by doing that. And as I say these words, I'm thinking about Etika. You guys, everyone's seen that video about Etika and the possible suicide. We don't know yet. We don't know anything, and it's still scary because he's a missing person now. But he said in his video, that like he refused help and he didn't want to let go of who he was or who people thought he was. He didn't want to be a bitch N-word, as he said. And I just want people to know that you're not you're not a bitch if you decide to seek help and better your life, because it is your life. It is your life, man. Like, you get to dictate a little bit of this. You get to dictate where it goes. And if you make a mistake that you can turn around and recover from, then you better and you really should do your best to do that. I made a lot of mistakes, as I've said in my previous video. But I'm also here to learn from those mistakes and grow past them. And that's another piece of advice, is learn from those mistakes. Whatever you did, learn from them. Don't repeat them. Don't keep going down the same path. Don't run away from it. You've got to do what's best and learn. Like, we're giving these brains this soak up information and, create memories for a reason. Like, we could have been goldfish, you know what I mean? Like, goldfish can't create long-term memories. They don't have to deal with anything they did. If a goldfish had teeth and it bit you and, you bled out and you died, the goldfish would forget that it did that. And then it wouldn't have to deal with any consequences, not even mentally. But we aren't built that way. Instead, we're built with these brains. So utilize these brains the best way possible, So if you're feeling down, do something for yourself. Like, I decided to go back to a thing I used to do way back in the day when I was in high school, and I started making playlists. I haven't made a playlist in forever, but I forgot how much I love music. So I dug myself into that. And for a little bit, it made me feel better. But then, after I was done, I feel sad again. And that's part of it. And I'm like, you know what? I feel sad. But let me maybe be productive, too. I put myself in some credit card debt, too. Just trying to spend away my pain. I bought some clothes. I tried to, up my image a little bit. And now I'm in a little bit, not too much, but a little bit of credit card debt. And so I'm like, let me actually do something to make myself focus on something else, but also, pay this down. So I'm, restarting my freelance business. I made a couple t-shirts. I'm going to do something that allows me to focus and kind of kill multiple birds with one stone. So, I'm out here, man. I'm doing something, doing something productive, And I'm gonna try to get this client. I'm trying to get him to sign a crazy contract. I'm gonna bill the guy for $5,000 for making his brand. I really want to see what happens when I send this out, because that's what you charge when you're a big name brand house place, right? So I'm like, let me get out there and see what I can do. Let me get out there and see if I can make things happen. And even as I say that, it fills me with a little bit of pride. It makes me feel better about my situation, and it makes me feel better about even being sad earlier today. It does. Like, I have, again, a lot of things going on, a lot of moving pieces, and I really do need to embrace these things that I've told you guys throughout this video that will, I think, and I hope, will make me feel better in the long run. I just booked a trip to go to Nashville with a couple of friends. And I know I'm gonna have fun. I know I am. I'm gonna have a blast. I'm also making plans for the future. Like, when I'm not gonna live in this apartment forever. I'm ultimately probably gonna move. And I'm like, let me maybe think about moving in a really nicer area of Chicago that, like, I've always wanted to live in. Let me prepare for that. Let me literally see what it's like to live that rich life for at least a year. I'm thinking about the Loop. If you guys are from Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm like, I always said I would never live there because it's not practical. But right now, I'm like, let me do something crazy. And I think that, too, is a thing that I can implore you guys to do as well. Maybe do something a little bit out of your comfort zone to, like, kind of like, not shock your system, but get you excited for something. Like, give you something to look forward to in the future. Instead of, dawning on about the things that you're not going to see or things that you're not going to experience. Because you've lost something in your life. Make some new things you can experience. Make some new things that you can be happy and look forward to. And again, as I'm saying this, it's making me feel better. I don't know if you can even see it in my face. I feel it in my stomach. Like, I had like a lot of tenseness in my stomach, and I'm like, I gotta do this. I have to do this for myself. Another thing I'm doing too is, like, I'm getting back in shape. I'm canceling my gym membership because I'm paying too much money and I'm not going. And I'm gonna start doing a thing where I do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups every day. And I've been putting it off. But I think I'm ready to finally start doing it, And I think that if I am able to accomplish this goal, then I'll feel better about accomplishing others. And then I'll move forward and I'll keep going and it'll get better and it'll get better. And the thing about the girl thing is I have to remember, you do too, and this could be the same thing for your other situations, that you've probably felt this way before. You've probably been sad about a situation similar to this before, or you've been sad before, but there is a future around the horizon. The last girlfriend that I lost before this one, I also was like really into and at one point wanted to marry. And then maybe like, I don't know, 6 months in, she met somebody else and then they got engaged. I'm like, what the hell? You know, I got so depressed. I got so sad. And I'm like, I'm never going to meet anybody else. And then I met somebody else. And then I met somebody else. And then I met this girl. And then I'm like really into this girl. It's like, it's just crazy. You know, like there is always a future. There's never a situation where you can't move forward. There just isn't. You might feel that way because you're in the midst of it. But I know from experience that there is a future. There is. And the more you tell yourself that, the more you believe that, the more you swallow the truth, I think the better you'll be, you know? And I call this video in some ways like a kind of a red pill video because I'm embracing some uncomfortable truths. I'm embracing some uncomfortable truths. And I am also being positive about the chances of a better future. So yeah, I'm down right now. Yeah, I'm sad. I'm admitting it. I'm saying it out loud. Yeah, I'm sad. I think that's why I think I've had a different tone in these videos. I used to be able to joke around a lot about everything and anything. I remember when I first got divorced, I was like making jokes in that first like post-divorce video. And I can't do that now. I just can't. I don't have that in me right now. I don't have this like internal optimization of, oh my God, it's all going to be great. Because I don't know. But I want to believe in it, you know? I really do want to believe in it. So here I am making that push towards positivity. Here I am making that push towards a future that I can't foresee. But I do know one thing. I've been through this before. I've been through other things before. I've been sad before. I've lost a job before. I haven't lost a job right now. I'm just saying that's a sad thing. But, you know, I've had things happen. You know, I've had family members die. I've lost friends. I've hurt people. I've made awful mistakes. But I'm still here and able to do something about that. I'm still able to make amends. I'm still able to keep living and keep doing more of this life stuff, as hard as it may be sometimes. I want to implore you out there, if you're suffering or you're sad or you're dealing with something, to not be afraid to ask for help, not be afraid to talk about it, not be afraid to reach out. If you want to reach out to me, you know where to find me. Links in the description down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Again, if you need this one, it's here. Subscribe if you want to, but check out my other videos, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll hopefully be smiling more. You know, like I just posted a bunch of videos on my Instagram actually, and photos, and I'm like really happy in them, and I'm like thinking to myself like, you know, that's a good mask you're wearing, Chris. It's a really good mask, you know. Like I'm a happy person naturally, but I just have not been feeling it lately. And I'm just trying, you know? I'm trying.